Next season, it's really starting to look like we want to have the most physical, tenacious, aggressive, technical midfield in the league, as we're set to say welcome to Chelsea Football Club in our new signing in Dario Essugo. I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I finally have the time. I've been excited to do this. I want to give you guys some insight behind his game, what to expect, and do we have another Caicedo in our squad for next season? So you guys, you know what to do with that like button. You know where the comment section is. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's get straight into things. Obviously, shout out to Nino12x for making yet again another amazing compilation. Makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Seeing a little glimpse of the tenacity of Essugo. This is going to be exciting to see. Great little introduction to what Essugo can do. Let's just rewind that back, my guys. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning. Look how he evades the pressure then. Like, obviously, we're fans, we see things from like a bird's eye viewing perspective, but you got to think from things from like a real-time point of view. And this is great problem solving by Essugo. You know, he's getting pressed by two players from like two different angles. To have the composure to just play the ball the outside of his right foot, push it into the space, speed boost, he skipped past two players, and he's taking Las Palmas up the field. Little things like this is why there are so many comparisons to Caicedo, because we've seen Caicedo do this throughout the entirety of this season. Now, he plays a really interesting role at Las Palmas. Again, showing that ability to just carry his team up the field. But here, this is like one of the best things about his game. His sense of timing, like his reading of the game. There's a reason why he ranks stupidly high for interceptions, for block passes, for lots of metrics that have to show you that this guy thinks a step ahead before he like conducts his defensive action. That doesn't mean that he's perfect with his tackling though. That's a different story entirely. But the fact that at such a young age, he's showing this level of thinking, there's a reason why Las Palmas are using him as their DM in front of their defense. Oh, good lords. The guy's got the press resistance. Sometimes you can't be judging a player's ability by stats, you guys. He's not going to be like doing these runs 20 times in a game, right? But when he has to do that, this guy's got tech, man. Ooh. skips away again, ball's glued to his feet, and then he just sprays it wide with the pass in. Makes it very hard to beat. You know, I've always liked these types of midfield players who are kind of like box-to-box guys at heart, but then they get played in different positions, like at 10, or most of the times as a DM. Because like for the big clubs here, you need players that can do, you know, two type of roles in one, in that sense. Like if you have a DM, your DM needs that ability to carry the ball forwards, have some like offensive threat in his game, and play a pass too. But yeah, one of the things about this guy, we've all seen this highlight. Let's see it again. One of the best long shots, I'd probably say, these last few years. I mean, what gave this guy the right to even attempt this type of long shot from like, what, 40 yards plus? You don't really see it too often, right? This was in like an under 17 tournament. That's the context behind the score. But my lords, if we can get like a fraction of this type of ability next season, then yeah, you guys, we're going to be laughing, man. Real talk. Maybe you guys thinking about this could be the future, right? Like, how often is there opportunities for us to even take shots outside the box? Maybe we need a guy that can blast it from like 35 yards plus instead of like in and around the box. But yeah, what a ridiculous goal. Perfect long shot, top right bins. Yeah, that's like a movie moment. But great ability from Essugo right here. Obviously, with the responsibility he has playing as a DM, a lot of times if we have one of the fullbacks pushing forward, it's important that your DM is able to read the spaces in behind to offer that protection, because they're like the last line for the defense, right? So he's shown that ability to get across lateral type of spaces like this, and he is not afraid to put his body in the line. A very brave player. Nice little tackle here. We're seeing obviously a compilation of his best tackles and best moments. Let's keep that in the back of our minds, because he is still quite clumsy. He can still be quite reckless There are still lots of times where he shows that youthful inexperience, which is normal when you're signing a 20-year-old. So let's not forget that, right? But yeah, this guy's shot power, ridiculous. It's been a while since we had like that pure blaster at our football club. Like I think of guys like Belletti, Alex, Hasselbank with the hardest long shot I've ever seen in my entire life, if I'm keeping things real. But yeah, look at this piece of skill here, man. This guy fully trusts his technique in game. Look, gets his body in front of his man, slips the ball in behind to pie him. No, Fabio Silva, isn't it? The striker who was at Wolves. Oh, played. Bro, like I've seen Moises make this same play throughout this entire season. Look, you think you're about to get the ball from him, but he just turns up the gears. He's comfortable keeping it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plays a smart pass out wide. But sometimes you just need your guy who can just receive from deep, carry up the field. And yeah, hopefully encourages his teammates ahead of him to just make them runs. Because these are the type of guys that give you confidence to maybe attempt that run forward that you might not do if it's someone else receiving from deep, right? Just those little details there. Not gonna lie, like when I see a lot of his tackling, it reminds me a lot of like the early Moises Caicedo years, where listen, it's exciting, it's fun, but it also has your heart in your hands, and it can leave you exposed to getting fooled by better opponents. Like they're gonna use that aggressiveness to their advantage, and there's been many a times that this guy's getting booked way too much this season. That is simply the reality. But again, this is like another interesting part of his game. Now, this guy can play passes short, medium, and long distances. But what's interesting about how Las Palmas actually build up is that a lot of times their centre-backs are encouraged to play those long balls. Most of the times, Essugo is required to maybe play switch balls, find runners out wide, compared to like playing it forward or progressing it as much forward. Like his progressive plays tend to be carrying, and it tends to be just switch balls out wide. But that doesn't paint the full picture. If you were to go to FB Ref, you might be thinking, Nini, this guy's passing in certain areas doesn't make too much sense. But you have to remember certain managers use these guys in particular ways, right? This is a nice little bit of ingenuity here from like youth team days. Nice little back heel pass right there. But yeah, man, Essugo, I mean, he is like one of the youngest debutants in Sporting Lisbon's history. So, you know, when teenagers are making their appearances for big clubs like your Lisbons and Benficas and co, like you're a special talent because you're not going to get minutes for free. Essugo. Look at that, bro. Like this guy, low key, like he's just got that physiology. Like look at him. Like, you know them. He's not even short, but he's stocky. He's got thick thighs. He's powerful. Low center of gravity. His tackling technique, he goes in hard and aggressive. He's not trying to win the tackle after like nibbling away 2-3 times. Like when he goes in there, that is his ball. That's the mentality he goes with. And that's what makes him like an overall, like a bit of a defensive unit already at such a young age. You see, he gives away the foul there. Like I'm saying, you guys, remember, you've seen the best of what he can do, right? Most of these comps aren't going to show the mistakes here and there. Listen, I wouldn't mind you guys, comp makers, like, don't be afraid to show the mistakes sometimes so we can get like a full picture of these guys. But at the same time, you want to see the best of what a guy can do, right? But great defensive reading right here from Essugo. Because I think about these little details, yeah? Obviously, a team like us, Maresca's constantly talking about pressing high, stopping the opposition in their half. It requires having a level of player that can think a step ahead, you know, that's going to be there to make that counter-pressing type of tackle. And Essugo is watching the ball, but he's looking to try and close the passing lane and distance that you can see literally right here. And he does do that. He gets in front of his man, he reads the danger well, slides in. Sometimes, you know, these types of players, I want them to like use their body a bit more. And I say this because when I saw like one of the masters at this, the two masters us Chelsea fans have been blessed to see defensively. For you guys who are a bit older, Claude Makelele, like he wasn't getting his shorts dirty for no reason unless he had to, because his ability to just use his body to win the ball he had mastered that skill. And I think maybe someone who's even like slightly better at winning the ball back is probably N'Golo Kante, probably the very best we'll probably see in a very, very long time, keeping it real. But this guy, he loves to break play up for fun. He's constantly alert, like there's little details, you know, you're seeing how he's scanning to see where the runners are going in behind. To show this level of defensive IQ at this age, it is impressive. There is a reason why we decided to fork this money out for him. I think it's a different story though in terms of how much game time he may get, but if Lavia is still injured next season, and considering if we had him right now, he would be of use for us, right? So I'm curious to see how Mares is going to have the midfield balance pattern for next season. Another thing that he's been surprisingly good at is aerial duels. He wins quite a lot of aerials. It's not something that's shown in this comp, but it is another facet of his game. Little details like this here. I also think with Essugo being young, as he tires out near a game, he can be more prone to making more mistakes. He can be more prone to ball watching or being out of position or giving a foul away. He's had it a bit tough recently, you know, picking up 2 red cards in 4 games, putting his team under a lot of pressure, showing a lot of like petulance. But he does have the ability, he does have the skill. I mean, Barcelona originally were hoping to try and sign him for next season to partner Pedri. If you're going to be Barca's DM, it means that technically they think you're a football player, right? So we can't forget that. That's great reading them from Essugo. Not the best clearance, but he's in the right position to deal with things, and enough is done just to put the striker there, you know, off balance a little bit. But little details like this here, you know, obviously the level in which you have to constantly just like scan and make sure you're receiving and like without any danger around you. You know, the levels are very high. So there are going to be times that he's going to get caught on the ball here. But again, with these types of project players, you're thinking about where they can be in the next few years. But being a Chelsea fan, that brings up even more different questions, right? Because what's stopping us signing 2 more of these guys over the next 2-3 years? We're still waiting to see if we can like fully utilize all the potential we have, because if you're not giving minutes out, there is kind of low-key no point in having a young team full of potential. Like, what's the benefit behind it without minutes, right? In Essugo, I think it's quite clear. There's a lot of Moises Caicedo comparisons, and hopefully he can learn under Maresca and under your Moiseses and the rest of our team. And hopefully he's a bit of a surprise package. I think that's the feeling I'm getting from Essugo. Ideally, you guys, if I could assign a midfield player, I'm going for someone with a bit more experience, like a bit of a different profile to what we have. I'm still curious to see how Mares is going to find the perfect balance for all these guys. But again, the kid is talented. I need to be objective when I'm just analyzing who he is as a player without all that outside stuff. And I think quite clearly, he looks like a really high quality defensive mid for the future. So what's your thoughts and opinions? How do you feel about Dario Essugo? Let us know in the comments below, my friends. I'll catch you guys with some more videos later on. Take care of yourselves. Cool.